So today I wanted to chat about the accounting roles and kind of the team structure that you have between 1 and 10 million companies, 1 million and 10 million revenue, top line of different companies. And that's kind of our specialty and who we work with. So I just wanted to kind of dive in and describe all the different roles that the accounting departments have. Accounting is really a function before it's a department. So everyone knows that the money going in and the money going out, that has to be recorded in some fashion. It needs to be recorded because in the end of the day, it tells you what has happened and where you want to go. You got to do it for taxes. And so how does that all actually work? Most of the time in the early stages, so under $1 million, or even if you're, 3 million, actually, maybe not 3 million, but a lot of times it's, an owner that's starting out and doing all of these roles, or sometimes it's, a partner that's doing most of the administration. So you're wearing a lot of different hats. But as your revenue grows, your risk and complexity also grows. And that's why knowing these different parts of the accounting department or the accounting flow is how you can break them out regularly. And in anything that what we do, we want one source of truth. We want accurate books. We want a healthy cash flow, and we want to be able to make confident decisions with our finances. So what are the accounting roles? So we have a couple of them, and not necessarily, there's a lot of things that kind of interchange and happen, but there are some distinct things, some distinct roles that we'll chat about. So bookkeeping is kind of the broad, the overhaul of what's actually happening, and where most people kind of say, oh yeah, that's for my bookkeeper or my accountant. And so what does that actually mean? Bookkeeping in general is just recording transactions and doing reconciliation. So any money coming in, any money going out, depreciation, making any entries into your, hopefully QuickBooks Online or whatever accounting software you're using, and just keeping track of everything. You have accounts receivable, so AR, you'll hear that. That encompasses all invoicing, any cash payments or collections, and that whole process. Sorry, and then you have your accounts payable, and that is how you manage your bills, your approvals, expense accuracy, and inputting that information. You have payroll and HR. HR kind of gets thrown into there, but mostly payroll, making sure that tax compliance with state agencies and federal also happens, but again, money going out. Your controller, this is more of a high level, and a lot of times is kind of where we sit in this controller side. Is we may not be doing the day-to-day transactions, or maybe helping out with some of those, but really just reviewing what to do, closing, and ensuring that there's accuracy, setting up processes and procedures and regularity, making sure that things are done on a timely fashion so that you can depend on the information and make decisions later. The CFO, this helps for any planning or forecasting that you have, and really can guide decisions and helping you look forward thinking. A lot of times you'll hear fractional or virtual CFO. And so the 1 to 10 million companies tend to hire this out at different times to really help with that strategy. And then you have your EAs, an enrolled agent, or a CPA, a certified public accountant. And these people most of the time help with tax compliance, so doing your state and federal taxes, helping with tax strategy or tax planning. And a CPA can also do potential audits if there's fraud or anything like that to help guide. So yeah, titles matter less than whether these responsibilities are actually covered. Again, one person is probably doing multiple, or maybe it's split up to two. But I think the biggest thing is really that creating a check and balances system with whatever process you are, whatever process you have. In the early stages, having one person is just kind of getting it done. You have lower transactions, a volume, so it just really needs to be done with one person. And as you grow, you have more risk, you have more transactions, so more people need to be involved, and there can be more room for error. So again, why having a controller or a virtual CFO can help and guide and make sure that things are done more accurately on a regular basis. The separation and teamwork really matter because this is about protection and not distrust. We are humans, and although AI is also a big part of our lives in the accounting world now, ultimately, someone still needs to be able to review in a proper fashion and on a regular fashion. So people that are doing entry work shouldn't be doing the approval system. People are doing payments shouldn't be reviewing what's actually being paid and going out. And people who, are doing data shouldn't necessarily be doing strategy. You can do them, but again, having that separation is really important. That's kind of the fundamentals of accounting in general, is just having those checks and balances and making sure that everything is set up in a fashion where you can depend on the accuracy. So it reduces errors, it protects cash, and builds trust in your numbers. This is kind of a generalization of maybe where a company may sit and who is involved with it. So $1 million company, depending on the transactions, is typically one person, mostly the bookkeeper that's doing all of it, the AR, AP, payroll reporting, and all of that. And then you can have a fractional controller or CFO, depending on how much forward thinking you want and how much accuracy you want, or division of roles to happen. Potentially you can be working with someone on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, and hopefully one of those two. And then you have someone else doing your taxes. And then for a 5 million company, you probably have maybe 2, 3, 5, again, depending on the flow of your company, but you'll have a little bit more division in the roles, someone that's doing AR, that are doing all the invoices and collection piece, probably someone that's doing the billing entry and preparation for bill pays, and then you'll have the controller who then is approving and making sure that the flow happens. And then, of course, you have your tax complaint. And then with the 10 million company, your accounting department is going to be much larger. You'll probably have like 10 people. Maybe, it actually just really depends. So I don't actually want to put a number to it, but you'll definitely have clear division in the roles. You most likely will have someone that's only doing payroll and HR. You'll have someone that's doing just the invoicing, and someone that is just doing the accounts payable. And then you will have a controller at that point who's overseeing all of those individuals. And then you still have kind of a virtual CFO. This person is most likely going to be meeting on a monthly basis to really help that strategy and make sure that things are ticking and going along, and helping. And then, so when do you know that you actually need someone else? So these are some questions that you can ask yourself. So is there only one person that's responsible for multiple facets of all of the review and fixing financial data? And would operations actually still happen if this person was gone? Or do you have a backup? Do cash flow surprises still happen even though you have good books? Do you need someone to come in and kind of really dial in and help figure out what is going on? And again, that forward looking, planning, cash flow. Are invoices and bills and follow-ups, are they being done with higher level financial work? And are they backed up? Like, are you getting invoicing out 2 weeks later than you really should? If there is too much backlog, it's time to get someone else so that you can get that money flowing easier. Do you rely on tax preparation to actually fix any of your yearly problems? You want to be catching these on a more regular basis to have more accurate books so that you can plan your future better. And if you're only catching them at tax time, that is too late. Yeah, so are financial decisions being made without forward looking? And does the accounting feel like constant pressure? There is no perfect system. Each business is going to be different and set up in different ways. But I think it's really about matching what your company size is, protecting cash, and being able to rely on your financials. If you don't feel confident with what is going in and out of your financials, that's where you have really big hiccups. So creating that checks and balances with multiple people involved with it, making sure there's clear defined roles. This person is involved with this section. This person is involved with this section. It gives a lot more clarity to the numbers that is being presented in your financials. And yeah, it supports better decisions. Growth doesn't require more people, it requires the right roles. So thank you for joining me today on the live. Thank you for your patience. We will always be showing up here though, and I hope that this kind of helps you in deciding where you want your 2026 to go, if it's ready to maybe reach out to us and look more into that controller or a CFO role. We are here to support, whether it's on a monthly or quarterly basis. We're here to support. We even have those that work on a weekly basis. It's just really dependent on where your needs are, and we are here to help. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Friday.